Hey there, in this video we're going to go over how to create a bill of materials and apply it to a container so that you can stock your trays or restock your trays or even just change the tray configuration. So first, navigate to the bill of materials section under inventory, and you can see the existing bill of materials we have here, and just click new BOM in the upper right corner. Select the type of BOM. Default are going to be the ones that we apply to containers. Packs are a different type of inventory altogether, and I encourage you to watch that video if you want to learn more, but we're going to select default and then enter a name for the BOM. So this is a way of creating a standard configuration for a type of tray. So, for instance, you saw I wrote spine tray 2. So let's say a total spine set for you is 5 different trays. This is a way of creating the configuration for the second of those trays that'll be applied across all of your trays that match that configuration. You can also think about this as a way of using custom trays. So if I wanted to create a custom set for a particular surgeon, you can do that as well. So all you would have to do in that instance is switch out the bill of materials on a container and then use it to, stock the needs of that container for that surgeon. So this is a way of managing different tray configurations. So we'll just keep custom set, and then we'll go ahead and select some items to add to this container. So as you can see, I'm just selecting these devices here. If I want to search, I can go ahead and search for specific catalog numbers and select them, and then go ahead and enter the required quantity. So you are saying that 2 of this item are required in any tray that matches this bill of materials in order to be considered complete. You can also enter a min quantity or a max quantity, but these are not used in the programmatic stocking of the tray. They're more guidelines. So the required quantity is what you really want to focus in on here. And just go ahead and update any of those that still need updating, add any other items that you want to add, and click create. And that's it in terms of creating the BOM. It's quite simple, but you can see we don't have any containers assigned yet. But here on the bill of materials page, you can see down below that you can always come back and access the items associated, add additional catalog numbers to modify this BOM, or remove a catalog number that doesn't belong anymore. And then click Save to save your changes. Just to note a couple other things here, you'll see this data along the right-hand side of each item. This is showing you that based on the quantity of that item in your inventory, this is how many containers you can possibly stock out with this bill of materials. If you're thinking, how many total can I build, you would think about what's the lowest number I'm seeing in this list. So 16 would be the total number of these BOMs I could stock out completely, before I ran out of this item 101.26. And then the count refers to exactly, how many there are in inventory. But let's go ahead and assign this to a tray so we can get it stocked out. So I'm going to go to my all inventory screen and filter for containers. And if you recall, containers are just an inventory item that contains other inventory. It's not ever sold, it just moves around holding other inventory together. So I'm going to open up the container we created in our last video. And we already have some devices here, and we'll see if they match the BOM or not. But up here in container information, you can select the bill of materials that is going to apply to this container. So I'm going to go ahead and select the one we just created. The page saved automatically for me. And you'll also see a new quick action just appeared for refill container, which indicates that our container is not stocked to the BOM's specifications. So I'm going to click refill container. It moved us down the page to the bill of materials section. You can also just find it by scrolling down and expanding that section yourself. But what we're seeing here is a representation of the BOM that we just created on the other page. It's also showing us what the requirements are. You'll remember what we just entered, and then the quantity that's actually in the container. So if we look at the devices, we have all of these pieces of inventory, but none of them match the BOM. So I have two options. I can, well, really three options, because you can request replenishment, right from this screen. But in terms of stocking out the tray, you have two options: to fix shortages, which allows you to navigate through your inventory manually. Whoa. And then locate the inventory that you want to use to populate that shortage. So this allows you to choose specific lot numbers and really manage in detail what you are going to select. So I selected 2, added those in. Now you can see that that shortage is considered complete. If you get this message, it's letting you know that the location of the item doesn't match the container it's being put in, and that the location is going to be updated to match the container location, which should make sense. If you're moving a device into a container, then it's going to have the same location as the container. So go ahead and confirm. It's just saving you a step of doing that on your own. So we selected one. I'm going to select another and click Done. And now we can see that in the BOM, we added 2, but now we have an excess. So, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay to have more than is required, but the BOM wants you to know that there's an excess. So if you want to fix the excess, it will help you remove that. There we go. Now it's complete. And then the last option is to auto refill. So we could have used this at the beginning to update all of these in one swoop, but it'll work the same way. So just click auto refill, and it's going to ask you, do you want to use the first in, first out method to select your oldest inventory and make sure that that's getting used first, or should you use the newest inventory and use the last in, first out method? This will determine how the system selects the inventory it's going to use to populate the tray. But I'm going to use first in, first out. I think that's a pretty good method. And we'll click Run. And there it went. It selected 2 items to fit the shortage. And it's going to give us a pick list that we can go look at to identify what the lot numbers were. Because if you use this auto refilling method, the key thing here is to make your tray in reality match what the system stocked. So that pick list is going to give you the lot numbers that you need to give to your warehouse to go select in order to fill the tray. So if we go down to devices, we can see everything we just added, and those are the items that, if they haven't already, the warehouse needs to pick and put into the tray. So auto refill is a really good method to use if you are stocking this in the system before it has been stocked in reality. If the alternate is true, where the tray has already been created and stocked out, you probably want to use the fix excess method to manually select the lot numbers yourself. Kind of a chicken or an egg situation there. And then you'll also notice that here it's showing us which items, how many catalog numbers are in the container but don't refer to the BOM. So there are 2. And if I scroll down, I can easily see with these red labels which items don't belong in the bill of materials. And maybe it's okay to leave them there. Maybe you don't care. It's not hurting anyone. But if you want to be concise and clear and, not waste on shipping around inventory that shouldn't be there, you can go ahead and select these and then release them from the tray. So that is how you can set up a BOM and use it to stock out your trays. Anytime that inventory gets used in a case, you can just head to the BOM section of that container and see what's missing, and then use these methods to stock it out as a way of easily replenishing the tray, rather than doing it all manually. So these are some useful tools for managing containers. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how changes to containers affect the rest of the items within them.